speaking of X-Men, what about Aaron Donald, the Los Angeles Rams, and Matt Stafford? Dad, I want to see if you agree with me that the 50 ball is potential. And the reason why I say that is Matt Stafford remembers his time here. Yes, he loves the fans. He loves the fans, but there were some tough times. There were some frustrations. There were some boos. There were some things that he felt was left on the table by the front office. There was some unappreciation at times. He's now in a situation where he has a great offense. He's having the time of his life. His wife has the biggest smile on her face every game in and game out. And they got a really good team. You know how it is to leave a team, go to another team, and just have your team support you when you play against that team. You don't think Matt Stafford's team, and that's the Andrew Wentworths of the world, or his left tackle, you don't think his wide receivers, you don't think Aaron Donald, you don't think Josh McVay is dialing up play after play after play for Matt Stafford to have success in his new home against the former team in the Detroit Lions?
It depends. If he get his satisfaction in a 2-hour window, it won't be a 50 burger. He'll be fine, and they'll call the dogs off. But if they're into the late third quarter, early fourth quarter, and not that the game is not decided, but Matt has not really put his foot on their throat yet, no, there could be. They could leave him in the game for the entire game, and just to make sure he gets close to throwing for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. So it depends on how the game unfolds if they're going to put a 50 burger on them or not, in my opinion.
Here's what Matt Stafford had to say about this game, and we talked about the headline of it yesterday was that it was just like every other game. But if you go in depth a little bit, here's what he said. Here's the quote. In pregame, am I going to say hey to some old teammates and friends, the Ford family, hopefully, if they make the trip? Absolutely. I've got nothing but great relationships with people over there, so a lot of respect for the organization, the team, the ownership. So, he went on to say, but once that ball is snapped, once that ball kicks off, it will be just like any other NFL football game. Say what you want about that. Nobody really buys that. Once you, I think, guy played here for 12 years. He wants to kick their teeth in.
I think part of that is true, and the reason why it's true is you look at the Los Angeles Rams. They're 5-1, with the exception of losing to the best team in football, the Cardinals. They're right there, and they beat Tom Brady, who's right now Super Bowl MVP. He's in that. He's probably the leader in that category. I don't know, maybe Kyler Murray, maybe Lamar Jackson, but they're 5-1. They're living the good life. They're playing well. They're the top of. They're second in their division. The Lions are 0-6. So part of that conversation is true. It is just another game because it's the Lions. They're 0-6. They're 5-1. They're really good. They don't have to worry about that. It's not like you're looking at a game where your former team is, Green Bay, and Green Bay's 5-1, and you guys are 5-1, or you're 4-2, and you guys are 5. So you don't have to look at it from that perspective. It's a really bad team. But on the other side of that, it's still your former team. Right. You want to show up and show out.
And conversely, too, on the other side, Stan, Jared Goff is going to play his former team that pretty much threw him to NFL purgatory with the Detroit Lions. It just kind of threw him aside.
I don't know if 0-6 is purgatory. That might be hell.
Well, right, okay. Threw him to hell with the devils and the horns and the pitchforks and everything like that. Look at the stats with Sean McVay. Jared Goff with Sean McVay, 42-20 with McVay as his head coach. He is 0-13 with everybody else. Braylon and I talk about it all the time. It's not when you get taken, it's who you get taken by, right? Where you get drafted, who's your coach, what's the scheme? It's so important, Stan.
Well, it is the Detroit Lions, but it's also remnants of last night's Monday Night Football game, and we'll talk about that. Just every now and then somebody can bring something to the table because they are professional football players and they get paid too, where you don't want to be the ones that the Lions get their first victory off of. Couple that with Matthew Stafford playing his old team. Yeah, I think they're going to come and play. I don't think it looks like just a regular opponent to them. They don't want to be the first folks to lose to Detroit Lions, and Matthew Stafford's going to want to put on the show.
Translation, 50.
Hey, Sean McVay spoke out as well on how he treated his quarterback, Jared Goff. They kind of traded him in the middle of the night. Obviously, Stafford's on vacation with his family, and McVay is on vacation with his family. Whitworth was there as well.
Just so happened
they're in
like
Cabo,
that.
hanging out on the lounge chairs, and they're like, hey, you want to come to the Rams? He's like, hey, if you can get me to the Rams, I'm there. But Sean McVay kind of stepped up and said, I could have done it a little bit better. I
Yeah,
learned
basically
from my
had no
mistake.
communication for months about that. And Sean McVay, now with Matthew Stafford as his quarterback, with one of the favorites in the NFC to represent the conference in the Super Bowl, says, yes, I wish I was a better, clearer communicator.
Yeah, you know what? McVay can keep that. At the end of the day, it's easy for him to say that now because he's about to play against Goff, and it makes him look like a bigger man. He owns up to it. He could have handled it a little different. He really doesn't care. He's just about to play golf. If they weren't going to play golf this week, he would have never said anything like that. This is what front office, this is what general manager, and this is what head coaches do in sport. I just saw an interview with DeMar DeRozan of he plays for
San
the Spurs.
Antonio?
He's with San Antonio now. He talked about Masai. Masai is the GM of the Toronto Raptors, and they told him they went to dinner. And they said, we were not going to move you. We're not going to trade you. 2 days later, they traded him for Kawhi Leonard. And obviously, it worked out for Masai and the Toronto Raptors. But that's what they do in sport.
Yeah, right.
They don't care about you realistically. They care about – it's always about the organization. It's never about the players.
Yeah, it's just like no different. And I'm not trying to troll here, but it's no different than like Mel Tucker saying he's staying at Colorado, go Buffalo or whatever,
Yeah.
and then 2 weeks later he's in East Lansing at the introductory press conference saying go
Spartans.
go green.
Yeah, Jared Goff has to get over this. This is professional
Yeah.
football, and they're paying you that kind of money. Yeah, you would like to think that because of the relationships and the intimate time you spent with those folks, that they would do it a little differently. It's big boy sports. You got to get over it. They
I bet
traded
you-
you without letting you know what's going to happen. Get over it.
Yeah.
I bet you the Ram fans will welcome him. I don't think they're going to boo him. I don't think they have anything to
They don't
boo
have anything
Jared
to
Goff
boo.
for.
No, we
But
won't.
I hope they give him a good welcome at least. I mean, and I hope he plays his best game.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it's his coming out party here. Maybe he throws for 3-4 touchdowns. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, and something about – we've talked about energy. You know, we were talking about energy with Joy on Sunday. We were talking about energy. Energy is real, and that might, like you said, we haven't talked anything about golf and what he can do. Energy is real. You get a different level of energy. You feel a different need. You feel different strength when you're in situations that you want to do good. You want to put on because of how you feel, and this could be a situation where Jared Goff digs into something and he finds something and he really gives the Lions something good.
Well, maybe this has been on his back the whole year. I got to go to L.A. and play the Rams in Week 7. I can't wait to get this game over with. Maybe once this game is over with, he becomes Jared Goff that won 6 playoff
That's
games.
your answer right there. You keep asking that question. You said, what is it going to take to get his confidence back? What is it going to take
This
to
might
get the
be
guy
it.
that went to the Super Bowl? You might be right. This might be the moment.
I hope so.
Real quick, Braylon knows this. When you get into a game, if you take a team light and they start to run, if you're not ready to play that game, and I'm talking about the Rams, you cannot turn it on. If you're not ready, you know they're making a run and you know they're better, you can all of a sudden just manufacture some type of energy to kind of turn it on and beat them.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers are crossed, and I think that's fingers are crossed for any defender out there that tries to tackle Derrick Henry. I want to get a thought on the Monday Night Football game last
Oh,
night
my
from you
goodness.
guys. Also, I want to get into some college football. Michigan State is 7-0 on their way now. Their next game is the Michigan Wolverines. We'll get an early assessment of that game from Stan Edwards. We'll do that next. This is Tuesdays with Stan, Armani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.